Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It is 12 o'clock on a Sunday. It's time for a Q&A. Now, this is where I take all the questions that you've asked over the course of the week and I try to answer them to the best of my ability. Now, a few things. I say this at the beginning of every Q&A, but first of all, thank you for any person that watched a video, checked out some content on Magic TV, joined the Netrix, commented, interacted in any way. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. Also, a special thank you to anybody who came up and chatted to me at the Session Magic Convention. It was awesome meeting everyone, and I can't wait to see you all again at Blackpool. Now, also on top of all of this, please don't forget that I answer these questions typically on a Wednesday. It's currently Wednesday. Don't even have a watch, but it is Wednesday. It's Wednesday at about 10 o'clock, I think. 11 o'clock. Christ. I film these on around about a Wednesday. So if you want to guarantee to get your question answered, you want to try and get it in by Tuesday or Wednesday at the latest. If I miss your question, I'm very sorry. I'll answer it on the following week's Q&A. Also, don't forget you're getting my raw, unfiltered opinion. I don't sit here for hours thinking up answers to this. I'm literally reading it on the spot, telling you what I think. If I think a question has a good kind of basis as a longer form video, I'll probably do that at some point down the line. But with that all being said, I hope you're having a great Sunday, and it is time to get to the questions. So without further ado, let's go into this week's Q&A. Okay, so the first question is from Sean Goff. I saw Sean at the Session Magic Convention. He travelled all the way from Ireland. I'm a huge fan of Sean. He's a great magician. He's a member of the YMC, helped Ryland in his Britain's Got Talent act as well. He saw him at the Midwest Magic Convention earlier this year as well, or last year. He's great. Sean is great. What's he got to say? Just got back from a fantastic weekend at the session. It was great to meet you again and catch up for a bit. Thanks for being so nice. As always, my question this week, what was your favourite lecture at the session out of all the brilliant lectures that took place? Great question. I think that Luke Germain's lecture was very, very good. I thought it was exceptional. I think that Luke did an amazing job. It was great to see him doing a magic lecture. And as somebody who uses the flipper coin, I loved his flipper coin routine. A lot of stuff used lapping, which I'm not really a big fan of. It's not something I do, but I could appreciate the beauty and his what's it called? McDonald's Aces routine at the beginning was divine. I mean, how often do you see a standing ovation at the end of a performance in a lecture before you get to the actual tutorial bit? And that says it all. I also very much like Tom Stone. I've seen him do that lecture before a couple of times, seen him do it at the Magic Circle, seen him doing it at the IBM convention. And it's, you know, it's great. It's really good. Really great. I think he's the only man that can build a paddle move into an arm and an oven glove. Just next level thinking. Who else did I liked everybody. I mean, I did a recap of this with Matt a couple of days ago that you can check out. But there were so many really good lectures. But Tom Stone is a personal hero of mine. I love Tom Stone, so I'd put him up there. Also, Axel Heckler was great. I love David Stone. Here's the thing. David Stone, for me, is the magician's magician. He is just everything I wish I could be as a magician, but I'm not. However, I'm not going to say I was disappointed because I wasn't. However, his lecture did come across. David Stone's lecture was very much a dealer dem. It was like, right, okay, let me show you this. This is Splash Bottle. You can buy this at the back of the room. Let me show you this. This is Mirage. You can buy this at the back of the room. Let me show you this. This is Zenith. You can buy this at the back of the room. Let me show you this. This is whatever it is. You can buy this at the back of the room. This is Tool. And he was showing tricks that, you know, you may as well, you could have had the same experience if David Stone had a dealer stand, which he doesn't, but if he did, you could have the same experience if you went over to a dealer stand and just watched him dem the routines that he had for sale. Because it was a dealer dem. And I've mentioned before on this channel, I'm not a big fan of dealer dems. I'm a huge fan of David Stone. I think he's slick. I think he's amazing. I think he's a wonderful performer. And I think there was some insight in the lecture, but it was just a shame it was basically a glorified dealer dem. But yeah, great convention. I think he gave it 85% when I was reviewing it the other day. Cool. Well done, Josh and Andy. Okay, so the next question is from Hugard8860, who says, Hi, Craig. Hi, Hugard. I recently developed a fascination for the wild coin plot. Great plot. However, I'm struggling with the motivation. Why transform all the coins individually just to change them back a minute later? I've seen Ben Dagger's impressive presentation. I've not seen Ben Dagger's, I'm afraid, but it doesn't quite suit my style. Any suggestion to address this issue? Thanks in advance. Well, a couple of things. First of all, you don't have to change them back if you don't want to. You don't have to change them back at all. If you want to just change them and keep them changed, that's absolutely fine. Then you don't have to work out how to change them back. Having said that, if you do want to change them back, I mean, there's a couple of different ways. Have a look at Michael Rubenstein's Twilight Zone wild coin, because that's quite a nice presentational piece. He did it on Penn and Teller the first time. It's quite cool in terms, I'm not going to tip it to you, you can go watch the thing on YouTube, but he talks about his fascination with Twilight Zone, and that's why the coins are changing, and they're changing back at the end because he wakes up or something. Now, that presentation can be used in so many different ways. So, for example, you could talk about how, you're going to try and hypnotize people. I've got $4 half here. I'm going to try and hypnotize you into thinking that this coin's a copper coin. Look at me. Sleep. Now you're hypnotized. Now you think this coin's a copper coin. See if I can do it with this one. You see, it's a silver coin, but if I say sleep, now it looks like it's a copper coin. And blah, 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 and so on and so forth. And then you wake them up from this hypnotic spell. And then when you show the coins now, they've turned back to silver. You could use that same presentation from an imagination point of view. I want you to use your imagination. This is a silver coin, but I want you to imagine it's a Chinese coin. On the Mirage coin set, I do a wild coin routine, which combines appearances, wild coin, and vanishes. And it goes along the premise of, hey, I love coin magic, and I learned how to make a coin appear in America, which is why every time I make a coin appear, it's an American dollar, because I learned how to make a coin appear in America. Here's the thing, though. I learned how to make a coin disappear in England. So if I want to make this coin disappear, first of all, I have to turn it into a copper coin. That's an English copper coin. When I've turned it into a copper coin, then I can make that coin disappear. Let me show you again. I'm going to make a coin appear. And it goes on and on. So I make 3 silver coins appear. I can't make them disappear until I make them turn copper. They turn copper one at a time, and then they vanish. And the premise for them turning into copper is so that I can make them disappear. So there's many different ways that you can actually present it and present it back. It can be hypnosis. It can be imagination. It can be, if you believe in magic, you can kind of go down the Hook thing. Do you remember Hook? Robin Williams, kind of sequel to Peter Pan. That I always think about that dinner table moment where he's sitting there and they're all eating, but he can't see any food, and they say, hey, you have to believe, Peter, you have to use your imagination. And then he starts having a food fight because now he sees all of the food, and it's because he's believing. You could use that. You could say, hey, I've got this silver coin. It's a copper coin. You could even use that as a hook line. Have you ever seen Hook? Have you ever seen that bit of the dinner table? We're going to try and do the same thing. Now, this is a silver coin. You know it's a silver coin. If I told you this coin was copper, you wouldn't believe me until you believe. I want you to believe this copper coin, this silver coin's copper, but really believe it's copper. Really, really believe it's copper, because if you believe it, it is. Let's try that again. Blah, blah, blah. And he said at the end, if you stop believing, even for a split second, we'll go back to the way we started. Now, having said all of that, I think the person who had the best ways of justifying a wild coin routine was David Roth, the late great David Roth. And everybody knows how much of a fan I am of David Roth. But I'll give you a couple of examples. But, buy his book, Expert Coin Magic. There's tons more in there, but we don't want to turn this into an hour-long video about Roth and his material and why he's a genius. But I'll give you a couple of examples. So think of the globe from his big book of magic, Expert Coin Magic. Think of the globe. So with the globe, I don't know if you remember it, he brings out a planet, a little globe, right? A little globe, and he brings out $4 half. And he takes the coins and he says, right, okay, so the first coin, I'm going to change it into a French franc. And it's still silver, but now it's a French franc. And he goes subtle, but still effective. The second coin, he changes it to England, so it becomes a copper coin. The third coin, he changes it to, I think he talks about China. He changes it to China. So he's talking about all the different places on the globe. And I think the final coin is a vanish, and they sign that coin. It appears inside the globe. But it's the whole idea of justifying the changes in the justifying the changes in the routine, yeah, because you're talking about different parts of the world. Now, my favorite wild coin routine of all time is the Rainbow by David Roth. So if you don't remember the Rainbow, he brings out a rainbow, a little rainbow about this big. He brings out a rainbow, right? And what he does is he brings out some coins and some $50, and he takes the first $50, and he takes a bit of yellow off the rainbow, touches it to the coin, and now it turned yellow. Then he takes a bit of blue, takes the next coin, and that one turns blue. Takes green, that one turns green, and the coins are turning really bright, vibrant colors. And it's happening because he's touching the rainbow, and the different rainbow colors are affecting the coins. And then the finale is he makes a pot of gold appear at the end of the rainbow. So it's about using your imagination. I remember Keith Bennett, magic dealer from the 90s, great guy, very good coin worker. He brought out a trick called Dream of Alchemy, which was kind of a wild coin plot. It was a wild coin plot. In a way, it wasn't, and it was. It was very odd, but it was a great trick. I did it for years, and he was talking about alchemy and alchemists, and if you're turning coins gold, you know, talking about alchemy is a great way to go. Or you could talk about Midas. David Roth brought out blank coins, and which were pieces of metal about the same size as a coin, but they're just blanks. And he talked about how you can print these coins, and he was turning these blanks into actual $50, which is a way to go as well. So many different ways to present it when you actually think outside the box. So I've probably talked too long on this subject now, and I'm very sorry, but hopefully that gives you some ideas. Okay, so the next question is from Illusionist Ed Zeus, who says, hi, thanks for the answers. I know you use quite a lot of magic music. I know you don't use a lot of music in your show, but Ryland does. What are the policies for using music? Do you have to pay each time you use copyrighted songs? Thanks in advance, you're the best. Right, okay. So I'm not a legal expert at this by any stretch of the imagination, so please, by all means, consult legal experts. But you're right, I don't use any music that's copyright. I don't use any music in my show, but Ryland uses an awful lot. So first of all, generally as a rule, if you're performing in a venue, it's the venue that has to have the music license. You know, venues can have DJs in there that are playing music, and the venue has the music license. So a lot of village halls, a lot of small theatres, places like that, they do have music licenses. And so when you're booking a venue, looking to make sure they've got a music license. Most of them should have. If you're doing something really big and really high profile, you might want to consider not using copyrighted music and go for royalty-free, copyright-free music. So, for example, when Ryland did AGT, all of the music that was being used was copyrighted-free music. It was royalty-free music, both in the audition and in the semi-final. Now, that wasn't the case in BGT because the BGT Act was put together with a specific piece of music in mind. And I don't know the process, but Russ Stevens and BGT got the rights to use that in that performance. Ryland's putting a Harry Potter act together that he's hoping to, you know, have as kind of his signature piece for the next 3 or 4 years. So a lot of time and effort has been put into it. And because potentially it could go and be quite big, we hope, maybe, we made the decision of making all of the music copyright free. So we spent ages looking for copyright free Harry Potter style music, and the track used for this act is completely royalty and copyright free. Even though it sounds like Harry Potter music, it's not. And you know, that was important for us with that, because ultimately, you know, it might go on. Well, there's possibilities we're talking to people about maybe it going on TV. So there's different things that you need to consider. But if you're just going out and doing gigs and people are booking you and you're doing a show in smaller theatres or smaller venues or even medium-sized venues, a lot of the time they will have a music license. But as I say, I'm not an expert in this, so by all means, that's my opinion. But feel free to consult an expert if you want more kind of legally sound information on the subject. Okay, so we have a few questions from Andy Putt, who says, last week I was late with my questions. Lack of time management is now your problem because I have a lot of questions. Bloody hell. Okay, thanks for your answers 2 weeks ago. Your 2024 sounds amazing. Also, you said that 2024 will have even better Craig Petty releases than ever before. Yes, you had an amazing release in 2023, so I'm curious. But now for the questions. Right, here we go. Question number 1. You told me the Tango coin boxes are good enough to start with, so I was looking between the Tango boxes and searched for an Okito box and a Boston box. What I found was that the same the same boxes, but then as an Okito box and a Boston slot box. Now I'm very confused. Can you help me which version Okito box and which version Boston box I need? The coins that I'll be using are dollar size coins from your coin set, so you know the size I need. Right, so there's multiple different coin boxes, but an Okito box, here's the basic difference. And I did a video on this. I did a hows and whys on coin boxes, so feel free to look at that. But in essence, basically, breaking it down, an Okito box is just a box with a lid that goes on it, and you can do all of the cool coin box moves that have been developed over the years. Roth pioneered a lot of those moves, but it is basically just a box with a lid that goes on it. A Boston box is a box with a rim around the bottom, big enough to hold one coin. And typically what you would do with that is you would take a coin and you would like double side tape it into the recess at the bottom of the box. And the reason for that is the box can still be used in any routine that you want to use, but it allows the box to become double-sided. And what I mean by that is you can pick the box up, you can put 4 coins in the box, and you can pick the box up and turn it over without them realizing it, and they still think they're seeing the 4 coins because they're seeing the coin in the recess lid at the bottom, the recess gap at the bottom. So when you take that box and put it on the table, you can steal out those 4 coins, which is used in many, many different routines. Then you can put the lid on, and as you take the lid off, you can turn the box over so the coins have gone and jumped over here or jumped somewhere else, depending on the routine that you want to do. So that's what a Boston box is. It's very similar to an Okito box, but there's a little recess at the bottom that allows you to put a coin in there. So in essence, you can steal the coins out the box, but they still believe that they're in there. The slot box, you can have, typically slot boxes are built into Okito boxes. I've never seen a slot box built into a Boston box before, but a slot box was created by David Roth, or popularized at least by David Roth. And what it is inside the box, there is a slot that runs around the whole of the bottom of the box, which means that if you put 4 coins in there and then you tip the coins out, 1 will be held back and 3 will fall out. So in essence, it allows you to hold 1 coin back, but if you tip them over all the way, all of the coins will drop out. So Roth had a really nice handling of his out-in-out coin routine using a gimmicked box, so it eliminates a lot of the moves. You still have to steal that coin out the box, but Roth had a really nice version of Hang Ping Chen that allowed you to do that, and there's other ways of stealing it out as well. But be careful, if you get a slot box, it's difficult to do any routines that don't require the slot, because a lot of other routines involve you tipping the coins out, and the problem with the slot box is you tip the coins out and that coin is going to stay inside, which you don't want in a lot of other routines. So I would advise you to get a set of a slot box, a Boston box, and a slot box, a Boston box, and a Okito box. There's others as well. A small box is really cool. A small box looks the same as all the other boxes, but you can switch it in at the end, and it's got a thicker rim, so the coins that you're using won't fit into the box. So at the end of the routine, you've switched this coin box in, and they think it's the same coin box, and you say, I tell you what, I'll give you 10 quid if you can put the coins in the box and put the lid on. And now they can't put the coins in the box, so it's kind of like a sucker ending. But in terms of what you need, get an Okito box, get a Boston box. That'll cover 90% of the routines. And if you want to go onto a deep dive with some of the Roth material, you might want to consider a slot box. Okay, so the next question is from Andy Putt again, who says, when will you be combining your 3 coin sets Academy? I have Mirage and it's awesome. Apparition is on its way, thank you very much. Maybe around the summer I'll drive from the Netherlands to Alakazam to visit the shop, buy Nightshade to complete the trilogy, and make it a weekend away with my girlfriend to see something of England. That's a really good idea. It's going to be after Blackpool. Pete is up to his eyelids at the moment, making sure that everything's ready for Blackpool. I'm up to my eyelids as well, trying to get everything ready for Blackpool. We're both up to our eyelids. Our eyelids are bursting off our head, so nothing's going to happen before Blackpool. After Blackpool, I'm taking a couple of days off, and then I'm going to get back onto it. So I would say come Blackpool, I I think March is when I'm next going to the Alakazam studios. With what I know and what's being released, I think March is when I'm going to Alakazam next. And so there's a very good chance that the Academy will take place while I'm there, because we can kill two birds with one stone. So I would say March, but it might be a little bit later, but it'll definitely be early on in the year. Okay, so the next question again from Andy Putt is, where's the best place to learn the PK touch routine? Well, the best place to learn the PK touch routine is from Banachek. Let's have a look. Yes, it's in stock. Okay, so Banachek many years ago brought out a book called Psychokinetic Touches by Banachek, a complete impromptu demonstration of mentalism. You get a 10-page spiral-bound book, step-by-step instructions, along with detailed illustrations. Two spectators participate in a haunted story during which they feel touches on their shoulders while the magician is nowhere near them. It's very good. It's really good. It's probably the best version of PK Touches there is. If you just go onto Penguin, it's in stock at Penguin. Just type in Psychokinetic Touches by Banachek, brackets book, and it'll come up, and it's $23.50. So you've got Psychokinetic Touches, the book. Also, on the latest Loops project by Yigal Masika, he put a really cool version of Loops in there, which I believe was Colin Cloud. I believe it's Colin Cloud's version of PK Touches, and it uses loops, and it's very clever. It's one that I've done close up a few times. Banachek's is more for a stand-up performance, but the loops thing that Colin Cloud put on the Loops project, that's something that you could even do close up, and I have done many times. There's lots of other ways of doing it. There's gimmick chairs that do it for you, which is what Mark Spellman used in the Britain's Got Talent audition when he was X. Many different ways of doing it, but honestly, I would say go for Psychokinetic Touches by Banachek, or I would go for the Loops project by Yigal Masika and look at Colin Cloud's PK Touch routine. Okay, so Andy put, next question. What's the best place to learn Leonard Green's snap deal? Maybe I'm a donkey, but with Mr. Green, his explanation, I don't get it right. The same counts for his apprentice, Takumi Takashini. Do you know any better places to learn it? Honestly, I've never learnt the snap deal. It's not something that's interested me or intrigued me. I think it looks beautiful to do, but it's not something that I've ever personally wanted to do. So I have no advice on this whatsoever, other than maybe contacting Ashley. Is it Ashley Goodwin? Ashley Goodwin. If you don't know Ashley Goodwin, I interviewed her on Magic TV. She's very big on Instagram and TikTok and social media in general, and she is an expert at the snap deal. So you might want to reach out to her, connect with her on Instagram, and ask her the best place to learn it. She's very helpful, but I can't really be much help with this question. Sorry, Andy. Okay, so the next question. Guess who it's from? That's correct. It's Andy Putt. Do you keep a list with all your releases through the years, like an Excel document with columns like year, project, production company, physical DVD, download, release? And if so, can you publish it? I'm looking for gems in old material of magicians, and I'm sure there'll be a few in your released material, like Flipped Out. I'm also trying to complete a list from magicians as Daryl and Leonard Green. I came to 50 with some research for the Craig Petty releases. With Keymaster, Chop, Mirage, and Nightshade, I counted the multiple versions as one, and not just 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. I haven't really, to be honest, got any sort of spreadsheet. No, I've released a lot of stuff over the years, some that I'm pretty sure you won't even know about. It was very limited releases, some that I only released years ago for lectures, and I just sold it at lectures, some ebooks that you just can't get anymore. But I never kept track of what I was releasing or what I wasn't releasing. When I'm in the prep, I've been more organised since coming back to the Magic community, because I'm constantly working on stuff. I actually have boards and notes and files and spreadsheets and stuff like that. But I'm still not the most organised person in the world. I can probably put something together. Maybe I'll do a video of every trick I've ever released and do a performance of every single trick I've ever released. But I unfortunately don't have anything that I can share at the moment because nothing exists. Okay, so the next question is from Andy Put Magic, who says, Gustavo Riley released a dice bomb effect in the style of Super Mario called Mario Boom. What are your thoughts about the project? I think Ryland will really like this effect. Are you going to review it? I had a look at this, and yes, we will review it. I'm just opening up your link that you put there. And yes, I saw this. We're going to review it. Now, this is based on the original cubic boom that Gustavo put out. And I'll tell you right now, I got cubic boom at the Blackpool Magic Convention 2020. And when I was at the Blackpool Magic Convention 2020, it was just before the pandemic. And I bought 2 cubic booms, one for me and one for Ryland. And then the world got locked down and I ended up doing virtual shows. And very quickly, I developed a virtual show. This was in every single virtual show I did for kids, the original cubic boom, which was taking a big cube, putting it in a see-through container, shaking it, and it turned into hundreds of sweets. I did that at the end of my cube routine in every virtual show that I did. So I know that it works, and it works really well. It's great for kids performers. It's great for a stand-up spot. I've not seen the Mario one yet, but I imagine it'll work exactly the same. And if it does, it's very, very good indeed. So yeah, I will review it. I haven't seen it yet, but it is something that I'm definitely going to pick up. Okay, so the last question from, oh no, it's not the last one. My God, there's so many questions. The next question from Andy Foot is, do you have any general advice for the Blackpool Magic Convention? Not specific for this year. Every year I do a Magic TV Blackpool Magic Convention survival guide, and I give a lot of the same advice, but then I give new advice as well. So that is going to be coming soon. I'm going to be dropping that in the next week or so. So I'm not going to answer all your questions now, but I will be answering all of your questions in a video that's going to drop in the next week or two. So look out for that. It's going to be my survival guide on how to survive the Blackpool Magic Convention. Okay, so the last question is question number 8. What are your Royal Rumble winners' predictions? And do you think Roman will lose his title in the Fatal 4-Way? Thanks in advance and keep up the good work. Thanks, Andy. What do I think? Well, no. I think it would be a shock for him to lose the title in the Fatal 4-Way. I don't think that's going to happen. Although there's an outside chance that it might. Maybe. I don't know. But I don't think so. I don't think so. In terms of who's going to win the Rumble, realistically, it's going to be Cody, or it's going to be CM Punk. There's a chance with the WWE, especially with Triple H now at the helm and trying to do things differently. There's a chance that it could be somebody else that we haven't even considered. But I think it's going to be either Cody or it's going to be CM Punk, or if not, they'll definitely be in the final 2. If I had to nail one, I'd probably say CM Punk. Cody won it last year. I think CM Punk. And as for the women's, I think that the logical choice is Becky Lynch. But is it Jade Cargill that they signed from AEW? If they feel like she's ready, I wouldn't be surprised that she's like a surprise entrant and just comes in and dominates the whole thing, and she comes in towards the end, because from the reports that I've read, she's okay, but she's been going through a lot of development training because she's not 100% ready yet. You can have her enter the Royal Rumble and appear very strong with having her do very little. If you have her come in near the end, and just because of the very nature of the Royal Rumble, she can look very, very dominant and do very, very little. So I could see her being the surprise winner, which would create intrigue leading up to WrestleMania, and then that's a program that would write itself. So yeah, I'd say Becky or Jade at the women's, and CM Punk or Cody Rhodes for the men's. Okay, so the next question is from Magic My Way, who says, "Hey Craig, I picked up the Super Wand and I was hoping you can recommend a good source to learn the dancing cane." Oh my gosh, this is great. Ryland learnt it from a combination of YouTube and Jeff McBride. But there is a great video that we've watched since then. Yeah, Dancing Cane 101 by David Mann. Dancing Cane 101 by David Mann. It is in stock, I can see. I'm looking at Vanishing Ink right now, and it's in stock. So Dancing Cane 101, it might even be a download now, I don't know. But everyone I've spoken to says that that's the best video on the Dancing Cane. As I say, Ryland does the Dancing Cane a lot. He learnt it from Jeff McBride, and he learnt it from Jeff McBride. Yeah, he learnt it from Jeff McBride, and also several videos on YouTube. But I would suggest by all means, look at the Jeff McBride material. But the David Mann, Dancing Cane 101 by David Mann, I've also looked, it's in stock at Alakazam as well. That's the one that I consider going for. Okay, so the next question is from the Relish One. That's Rich Relish, if you don't know. Who said, "Hi Craig, I believe it's the Linking Rings that Richard Osterland did. It's on his Live Without a Net DVD set." Yes, that's the one. There's a mentalist doing hardcore mentalism, and then he busts out a Linking Ring routine. If it's good enough for Richard Osterland, it's good enough for everyone else. And talking about mentalists, I spent a couple of days with Rich Relish this week filming for a new project for Murphy's Magic. Not my project, Rich's project. And I was fortunate and lucky enough to be on it. Just hosting the project, and oh my God, Rich is a genius. That's all I'm going to say. Rich is a genius. He has developed something that I think pretty much everyone will do. So yeah, there you go. Keep an eye out for a trick coming out from Rich Relish through Murphy's Magic, because it's going to be a killer. Okay, so the next question is from Darren Bain, who says, "Hi Craig, 7 days ago, I'm typing this on the 14th of January, at 6 p.m, a Magic Live was posted on your channel where you performed a variation of the Ambitious card to Jack. In the comments, someone from Magic TV said this was available in full on the Netrix. I'm a Bron Netrix member, and I've searched this routine and I can't find it anywhere. Can you tell me what it's called on the Netrix? I've tried the obvious search words, Ambitious card, Craig's Ambitious card, but I'm not finding the routine you did for Jack. Can you tell me its full name on the Netrix, please, so I can find it? It's a great routine." Yes, I'm an idiot, and I didn't put it on there. I thought it was on there, and it's not. So the next upload, which is next week, we're on Sunday. You're watching this on Sunday, so the upload's going to be like Monday or Tuesday, maybe Wednesday next week. That Ambitious card is going to be going up in full, broken down, and I'll be referencing which slides from the slide section that you need to go and look at. It's my 1000 timer. It's the Ambitious card that I do all of the time. I'm also putting the card in the box up on the Netrix as well, because someone pointed out to me that the card in the box hasn't been put up on the Netrix either. So on the next upload, you're going to get card in the box, and you're going to get Ambitious card. Although a really cool version of Ambitious card that's on the Netrix right now is a routine called Triple Riser, I think it's called, or Triple Rise, or Triple Ambitious, or something like that. And it's a 3-phase routine where 3 people pick cards, and it's a 3-phase rising card. So the first one rises out the middle of the deck. It's a regular deck, by the way, no force, no gimmicks or anything. So it's a rising card. The first card rises up out the middle of the deck. And then the second card, they hold on to the deck and it rises in their hands. No, the second card, they pantomime folding it up and it rises up, folded up out the middle of the deck. And the final one, they hold on to the front of it, of the deck, and the final card rises out the front into their hands, and then the deck vanishes while they're holding onto the deck. I have no idea why I told you that, because that's not an Ambitious card, that's a rising card. Just ignore me. It's on there if you want to see it. It's Triple Riser. But yeah, the Ambitious card will go up in the next couple of days. Okay, so the next question is from Johnny Coates, who says, "Hi Craig, just got Chop Shop by John Bannon. Such a great trick. It starts with an Elmsley hiding 3 cards. I've been practicing but find it hard to hide the thickness. Any tips on how to make it look normal? Johnny." Well, let me just make these cards appear, Johnny, and we can do this. Wow, he's such an amazing magician. Whatever. Right, okay, so you've got 7 cards. I'll turn 3 of them over. And what Johnny is asking here is how to do the Elmsley count whilst keeping the thickness hidden. Because obviously you can do an Elmsley count with just 4 cards. I mean, that was the whole concept of the original Elmsley counts. You know, when it was first called the Ghost Count and published by Alex Elmsley, the whole idea was that it was a 4 for 4 count. You count 4 cards as 4 cards, but it's hiding the 3rd card down. By the way, I go into this in great detail on the Netrix, just saying. What John is asking is when you have more cards, so you have 3 cards face up, kind of like that. So we're kind of in this situation. Let's put 4 face up. Let's show you how to do it with 4. So what John is saying is you've got 7 cards here. There's 4 that are face up, and there's 3 that are face down. How can you do an Elmsley count with those and keep keep the thickness hidden? Well, it's not actually that hard to do, as you can see, right? That should look hopefully pretty good on the camera. Yeah, okay. So the first thing that I would suggest is how you hold the cards is important. When you're talking about the thickness of a packet, what you don't want to do is have the audience looking at the edges, because they're going to see the thickness. If I do it this way, when I do that block push off of 5 cards, you're going to see the thickness. There's nothing I can do to hide that. So the first thing that I would tell you is make sure the audience aren't looking at the thickness of the cards. So when I was performing it to you before, to the camera, I turned slightly to my left and angled the cards this way, so you're looking at the backs of the cards, which is going to hide the thickness, because you're looking at the backs of the cards. Now, in a walk-around situation, people are looking directly down at the cards, and that's not a problem because they're looking at the backs. So that's not a problem. If people are straight on, as I say, you can do a slight body turn to the left and do it this way, which works fine. Or you can angle the cards down this way and you can do it this way, and that kind of looks equally as good. The second thing that I would say is don't do the original kind of twisting the aces way of doing it, because at the fingertips, I still see people using the fingertips, which is fine, whatever, but it gives you less control over that block of cards, right? What you want to do is you want to hold it in dealing grip. Use your forefinger here at the top right. And the reason the forefinger is there is because that's going to allow you to just push one card. So have the forefinger there, push the one card, and then what you can do is when that one card comes away, that's when you do the block push off. So that how you grip the cards are important. You want to kind of have it in this position. And what that will allow you to do as well, so you take the first one off, you do the switch, and as you take this block of 5, your hand is squaring that block of 5 up, as you can see, which you can't do if you're holding it here at the tips of the fingers. It's more difficult to square that up. But if you're taking them directly into a dealing grip, you're going to be able to square those up as you're doing the Elmsley count. Now, the next thing, I mean, obviously, you know as well as me, the tempo of an Elmsley count is very important. If I go 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, the tempo needs to be the right speed. Now, I tend to find that when I'm hiding several cards in an Elmsley count, I like to do it slightly quicker, because if I do this and I go 1, 2, 3, they've got more chance to see each individual card. But if I just go, right, okay, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 cards. You know, they can see that there's 4 cards, but they've got less time to focus on anything. And also, you know those people that do paddle moves, and they do this really bad paddle move like that, and your head's going, boop, 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 right? The best way to do a paddle move is like that, right? It's the same with this. I see people doing an Elmsley count and they go 1, 2, 3, 4. What you want to do is you want to kind of keep it really tight. 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. And the other thing is practice the switch. You know, the moment where you're switching packets, practice that switch. Because very, very simply, I see a lot of people doing this sort of thing, and when you're doing that and you've got a packet of 5 cards, it becomes kind of obvious. So you want to kind of practice that switch. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the other piece of advice I'll give you is don't worry too much about it. You know that you're taking 5 cards here. So you're feeling very conscious about that. You're feeling very worried about that. The audience aren't. They don't think that there's, well, in this case, I've got 7 cards here. The audience doesn't think that there's 7 cards. They don't know what's going on. Don't run if you're not being chased. So kind of, you know, without being rude, get out your own way. Don't worry that the audience, you think the audience are going to see this. They're not, right? You know, just don't worry about it. It's kind of half of it is an attitude thing more than anything else. So that's what I'd say about it. And other than that, it's just practice. You know, you want to practice doing this like anything else. Even if you do the Elmsley count and you do the Elmsley count perfectly, having the ability to do an Elmsley count where you're hiding the amount of cards is a slightly different technique. It's a slightly different skill set. And a lot of people, they think, oh, I'll do an Elmsley count, I can do that, no problem. It's slightly different. You do need to put some practice into it. So get yourself, don't use the cards from Chop Shop or whatever the trick is. Put them to one side because you don't want to wreck them. Just get yourself like 7 cards and just do this over and over again and make it an underground Elmsley. Put that last card to the bottom, because then you can keep doing that over and over again. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can see, even when I'm doing it, if I did it slowly, you can see that there's more than one card going across, right? But because I do it at a kind of a decent speed, nobody notices. Nobody notices. So that is, hopefully, that's all the advice I've got on it. Hopefully that helps. Okay, so the next question is not a question, it's a statement from FT Lum and also Elke, who both say that the trick that somebody was asking for last week is from Eric Mead, and it's called Tie One On, and it's from Tangled Web. That's the one with the ties, and you're using Equivoke with the ties. So that's brilliant, and it's further proof that the people that watch this channel are way more knowledgeable than I am. So thank you guys, I really appreciate you putting down what it is. Okay, so the next question is from Adrian Suter, who says, with Ryland doing more and more shows and appearing on TV regularly, how do you ensure that Thea's interests are not neglected in your family life? I have 2 kids where the older one is somehow dominant in her interests. Well, we just make sure that, we just make sure that we spend as much time with Thea as we do with Ryland is what it is. You know, I mean, we're quite a close family, me, Ryland, Thea and Sarah, and we do an awful lot of stuff together. And luckily, Thea likes... we make going to magic conventions fun. Obviously, we try to go to magic conventions as a family. So those doesn't always happen. So it was just me and Ryland that went to the session, just gone. But generally, as a rule, we try to go as a family. Like we're going to be going to the Blackpool Magic Convention as a family. And we try to make it a bit of a trip. So it's not just carting Thea off to go to a magic convention and coming back. Like when she went to the session last year, Sarah took her into London and they watched Frozen, the musical. And, you know, they're going to the Blackpool Magic Convention, but we're getting there a week beforehand and we're doing a load of family stuff. And we're going to be going around theme parks and, you know, water parks and stuff like that. It's about making it fun and also making sure that we spend a lot of time doing Thea's interests as well as Ryland. So Ryland loves magic, he loves football, he loves stuff like that. But the stuff Thea likes, and regularly we'll be going out and we'll be like, right, this is Thea's day. What are you doing, Thea? What are we doing today? Where are you? You decide what we're doing. You know, so there's that. She doesn't get neglected at all by any stretch of the imagination. There's times where Ryland's rehearsing, but typically Thea and Sarah aren't involved in that at all. So when Ryland's rehearsing is normally with me and Matt. And so he might be at my office, he might be at my warehouse, might be down my man cave, might be somewhere else. But we kind of go away and then come back and, you know, he'll rehearse with Thea because Thea likes being a part of that. She's really proud of her brother and she gets huffy if she doesn't get a chance to see him practice because she wants to give her 2 pence worth in, which is just amazing. But yeah, how you know, Thea's interests are not neglected at all. She's into princesses, she's into mermaids, she's into unicorns, she's into pink, she's into makeup, she's into everything that a 8-year-old girl would be in and into, and yeah, she's very, very happy, which is cool. Okay, so the next question is from Stephen Devereux, who says, hi, Craig, always loved your channel. Thank you very much. Do you do the 5-card box by Bill Abbott? I would like to buy it. What do you think of it? Yes, I do. I haven't done it for a while. I'll be honest, I haven't done it since COVID, actually. It's one of those tricks. I do so much magic that things cycle in and out of my repertoire from time to time. But I've got a 5-card box, and Bill's version of 5-card repeat is great. Because it makes sense, you know, the whole presentation about, hey, when I was 10 years old, I would do this and I would get everyone sitting down, and you know, it's designed as a great opener to elicit a big reaction from the audience. It's genius, the structure of it and how he's structured it. And the 5-card box just gives it a great finale. You know, you've done this whole routine and then boom, you open it up and all of the cards have vanished. All of those jumbo cards have vanished. It's a great moment. And I love the fact that it's made, even though it's a really professional prop, it's designed to look like a cardboard box, which fits into the story and the presentation and everything else. So yeah, I love it. I would recommend it to anyone. As with most of Bill Abbott's stuff, it's not the cheapest in the world by any stretch of the imagination, but it's very good and I would highly recommend it. Okay, so the next question is from Magic Human 782, who says, what do you think of Lior, Suchard and Ryan Trix? Ryan Trix is cool, man. I've seen a lot of his videos. I've met him several times in person. He's a really good guy, very creative with his videos, very, very creative. I think he's the blueprint for a lot of the social media magic these days. Really cool guy. Lior Suchard, I don't know, I'm afraid, but I will definitely do some research into it. But Ryan Tricks, yeah, I'm quite high on that guy. I think it's really, really good. Okay, so the next question is from C White 8023, who says, "Hello, Mr. Pezzi. Thank you for the videos and the information therein. You're more than welcome. The video you spoke of working in care homes, you mentioned balloon modeling. When you said it, I thought you said nude modeling. I was so shocked and confused, I had to rewind a little. That's hilarious. Takes Magic Mag to a whole different direction. Now it does, my friend. Now for my question. Do you know of any great resources for magic with tarot cards? Thanks for your unintended laugh." Ian, okay, so let's just go through some of these. Okay, so let's see if we can get this. So there's several tarot card tricks that have been bought out with tarot cards, and I'm not a real tarot card user, so I'm not aware of many of them. The Oracle system from Vanishing Ink is one that everybody was really high on. Obviously, Alakazam bought out one that's kind of a multiple out thing that we reviewed recently. One of the best ones that I've seen is Past, Present and Future by Rick Lax that came out last year through Penguin Magic. Or 2022 actually came out through Penguin Magic. Ian Rowland is the guy that you want to speak to, because Ian Rowland is an expert at cold reading, warm reading, making magic memorable, and he advocates using things other than playing cards to do card magic. And he's literally written the book on cold reading for magicians, and spends a lot of time thinking about tarot cards. In fact, last time I was with Ian, he showed me a tarot deck of cards that was all based around cats, which was hilarious. So it was a tarot deck of cards, but all the illustrations were cats, and the devil was a dog, and the hermit was like a dog without a home. It was very, very funny. Really, really good. The death card was the Hoover. It's just very funny. So if I were you, I'm not an expert at tarot cards, but I'd reach out to Ian Rowland. He is one of the most knowledgeable people I know. He is also one of the nicest people I know, and he would help anybody because he believes in helping each other in the magic community. And Ian Rowland is, as far as I'm concerned, a genius. So reach out to Ian and ask Ian about it, because, you know, that's what I would do. He's available. You can get hold of him relatively easily, and I know he'd help you. So you want to know more about magic with tarot cards, speak to Ian Rowland. Okay, so the final question today is from a guy called Lewis Pawley, who says, "Hi Craig, my name's Lewis." Hi Lewis, I'm 16 and I'm from the UK. I struggle to get gigs booked in because I believe my age is working against me and preventing people from booking me. Is there anything I can do differently to get more gigs booked and stop this from being a problem, or do you think it's a matter of time? A bit of both. I think it's a matter of time. I think you have to understand that when people are booking a magician for their event, right, they have that event that they're organising is the single most important thing for them. So if you're planning a wedding, it's the one day of, you know, they've probably spent 2 years planning this wedding. They want it to be perfect. If it's a corporate event, there's probably an event planner, or there's somebody working in HR or marketing that's literally, their job is on the line. They have to make sure that event is perfect. Even something like a private party, you're going to have people that have put a lot of time and effort in to make sure that that event is perfect. I did a 18th birthday party, and last week, and it was an 18th birthday party, and they booked this beautiful venue, they'd booked the illusion show, they'd booked close-up magic, and they'd spent an absolute fortune on this, and, you know, they wanted to make sure it was absolutely perfect. The reason I'm telling you that is because you, at your age, will have to work harder than most other magicians, because age will be a factor. Unfortunately, that's just the way it's gonna be. If you're in charge of booking entertainment for a corporate event, and you want that event to be absolutely successful, and you're looking at multiple magicians, because they'll research into this. They're not just gonna draw a name out the hat and go, that'll be okay. They're gonna research into it. When they research into it and they try to decide which magician they want, your age will be a negative. It might not necessarily mean that's why they're not going to book you, But if you've got somebody who's there, 30s, hey, I've been doing this for 15 years, I'm a professional magician, I've performed for this company, this company, this company, I've got this review, that's going to be more that's going to fill that person, that booker, with more confidence than, hey, I'm Lewis, I'm 16, I struggle to get gigs, but you know what, please book me. Do you know what I mean? So your age, it's not even so much your age, but your experience. When you're marketing yourself, you have to think about social proof. And what do I mean by social proof? But by social proof, I mean what you can show the audience, what you can show the potential booker that you've done that encourages them to book you. So it could be quotes, it could be testimonials, it could be videos of you performing, it could be your social media reach. There's a million different things that it could be. But, different people have different social proof. If somebody's worked on TV and they put that on their channel, or they've performed to a celebrity or whatever it may be, that's social proof. Now, bearing that all in mind, you have negatives that you need to get past, right? You need to be able to show people that you are the right person to book regardless of age. So how do you do that? Well, there's certain things that you can control. A lot of professional magicians, for example, are not very good at social media. Having a big following on social media is a great way to show to a potential booker that you're very good at what you do. I'll tell you now, Ryland gets tons of inquiries and he's 11 years old. And I'm not just talking about little inquiries, I'm talking about big corporate events and stuff like that. And I'm telling you, it doesn't come about as a result of America's Got Talent. It doesn't come as a result of Britain's Got Talent. It comes as a result of his social media reach. Last time I checked, I think he's got a 14 million reach on Facebook. And he's got like almost 20,000 followers on Instagram. And he uploads videos and photos to Instagram and Facebook all of the time. So when people, the amount of people that contact us and go, hey, Ryland, I found you on Instagram. Are you available for this date? What do you charge? That's something that you can control. You can control social media. There's a lot of social media magicians. There's a lot of magicians, professional magicians, and their social media is terrible. It's not very good. They've only got a couple of thousand followers. They don't put stuff up very often. And when they do, it's normally pictures at gigs or pictures of a pack of cards. You can control that. At 16, you have more time to put into social media. That's an element that you can control. Having a big, strong social media following is something that will make you look good to a potential booker. What else will make you look good to a potential booker? Having a really nice website. Now, you don't have to pay a fortune for a website, but learn. Use this time now to learn how to create websites. Keep it simple. Use Wix. Or WordPress or something like that, but keep it really simple. Use GoDaddy. But Wix is a really good one. Learn how to, and it's very drag and drop. Learn how to create a website and make it the best website that you can. Then go out and do some free charity gigs. Oh, don't perform for free. Well, yeah, go and perform for free. Unless you've got thousands of hours of video footage and you've got hundreds of really good photos of people you're performing to going, oh, then I would suggest you go out and get some free gig. Because here's the thing, I've talked about this in the past. My mentor, Brad Burton, has this system called ACE. And he says that every single time you get an inquiry for an event, you have to consider, you don't necessarily always need money, but you need to think about this thing called ACE. ACE stands for assets, cash, and experience. So when you go and do a gig, you either have to have assets, cash, or experience. Now, cash is obvious. You charge a certain amount for the gig and you go and do it and they give you the cash. Experience is a really useful one to have if you've not got some experience. Like, let's say you're putting a stage show together in a corporate environment and you've never done that before. And somebody says, hey, we've got this staff event, we don't have a budget, can you come along and perform for us? And it's a stage piece for 20 minutes. You might want to do it to get experience so you get better when somebody inquires for you and they do want to book you. So you're not doing that for the first time. But the big one is assets. Somebody, reach out to some charities and say, hey, I'll come along and I'll do this this event for you for free, but I'm going to bring a photographer with me and I want him to take pictures of me when I'm going around the tables. Because the more social proof that you have, the more assets that you have, the more you share on social media, the more you can put on your website, the more desirable you look. So now they kind of go, well, you're 16, that's a negative compared to this person, but oh my God, look at their website, look at the photos they've got, look at the assets that they've got, look at the videos they've got. Let's check out the social media. Oh, this guy over here that says he's been doing it for 20 years, he's only got 10 videos on Instagram, and he's only been, and his last video was 6 months ago. This guy's posting on Instagram 3 times a day. Oh, how does he do that with that pack of cards? That's really good. So now you're tipping the scales back in your direction. You're controlling what you control. It's a bit hippie, but control your controllables. Don't try and control things that are outside of your control. You can't do anything about your age, but you can do... you can control other things. You can control how good your website is. You can control how good your show reel is. You can control how good your social media is. You can control blogs. Start blogging. Start vlogging. Start putting blogs on your website to start in trying to increase your SEO. Do all of this sort of stuff is very, very important. And then go on TV. Try and go on TV. Look at Richard Jones's interview with me on Magic TV. He talked about how he just busted his ass going out there, trying to go on every single TV show that he could. I'm going to go on this TV show. I'm going to just getting his name out there as much as possible. Dynamo did that. He crashed celebrity parties. Go out and get your name out there. Go and try and get on TV. Go and apply for America's Got Talent, Britain's Got Talent. A lot of the pros won't do that because they don't want to look stupid. But you go and put yourself out there. What's the worst that can happen? If something goes wrong, it's yesterday's chip paper, right? Why does Ryland have such a following? Well, partly because of what he puts on social media, but I'm sure the stuff he did on America's Got Talent and Britain's Got Talent doesn't do any harm. So go out there, shout about your successes and offset the balance on the scales. You're down there because there's a lot of stuff working against you. Until you get older, control the things that you can control. Make yourself look more desirable to your competition by offsetting that balance. So there you go, guys. That's another video in the bag, another Magic TV Q&A in the bag. Don't forget, we've got a review show special this Sunday evening, so make sure that you check out that. And if you're a subscriber to the Netrix, upload is the beginning of next week. It might not be Monday. It could be Tuesday or Wednesday. I've had a very busy week this week, and I don't know when I'm filming them. I'll be filming them and getting them up as soon as possible, Monday or Tuesday. The Ambitious card will be on there. The card in the box will be on there, and plus a whole bunch of other stuff, including the best goddamn triumph you've ever seen, where the spectator does everything and you never even touch the pack. That's right, they shuffle the cards, they mix the cards, you don't touch them, and their card is the only one turned over in the deck. That's going up on the Netrix. So make sure you check that out. If you haven't become a member yet, go to www.thenetrix.com. You got a ton of stuff on there. Bronze level, you got access to hundreds of tricks. The Sleight School, a bunch of stuff. Silver level, you got access to all the business stuff, but more importantly, you got access to the VMCs and the virtual magic clubs that take place every single week. I'll see you again soon. Thank you so much for watching. My name's Craig. Have a great week. And this has been the Q&A on Magic TV.